Hi, my name is David Bergmanson, and for the October 21st, 2021 edition of the World Weather Watcher, we're going to be zooming into India to have a look at the impact of above normal rainfall, both in the north and south part of India, and also look at the movement of rain in what we call the Intertropical Convergence Zone for the central part of Africa as the onset of the rainy season starts in that part of the world. As you may have seen reports of landslides due to excessive rainfall in both the north part of India as well as in the south part of India. And we're going to be zooming into why this is shortly. But it's great to see that the UK and India are joining hands as COP26 approaches to look at the critical issue of adaptation to climate change and using innovation to help us generate the insights needed to invest in infrastructure that's resilient to the increased weather variability associated with climate change. I'd like to point out that AWARE has over 40,000 virtual weather stations in India that we can use to look back over 20 years of observed weather data to inform infrastructure investments based on weather trends that we see and that can be quantified, including the variance we see in critical parameters such as rainfall that will help inform appropriate infrastructure investments, especially those related to water management. Now, when we look to the last 30 days for precipitation, we can see why India has been facing these challenges both in the south with above normal rainfall as well as in the north in Uttarakhand. In contrast to Myanmar, which has had well below normal rainfall, we also see below normal rainfall for Central America and also below normal rainfall for the southern part of South America. Looking to the forecast for the next 15 days, we see that for precipitation, below normal for the southern tip of Brazil, while a little above normal for the north part of South America. We also see the movement of the Intertropical Convergence Zone here for the central part of Africa coming into Angola. We see above normal rainfall, though, in the forecast for the southern tip of India, so this is not good news for those already dealing with flooding and landslides in that part of India. We also see a little above normal for parts of Southeast Asia as well, and drier conditions across much of Europe. Now, when we zoom into India, we can actually look at the rainfall patterns in the north here in Uttarakhand, where in this current week, we see a rainfall of approximately 320 millimeters. This is well above the normal 10 millimeter rainfall expected for this time of year. And it's these intense rainfall events that are resulting in runoff and landslides due to the lack of our ability to take off that excessive precipitation in a safe manner. Same is true, though, in Kerala down in the south, where over a number of weeks, above normal rainfall compounded by high rainfall events in this week and in the forecast are going to pose a real challenge for emergency crews as they deal with landslides and flooding and making sure citizens are safe. So this is unfortunate news for the southern part of India, but again pointing to the need for us to use weather data to inform infrastructure investments that will allow us to deliver better resilience to extreme rainfall events in the future. Now, when we look to the maximum temperature, last 30 days, we've been talking about these warmer than normal conditions for the central part of Canada and into the north central part of the United States, and also warmer than normal conditions for the southern tip of South America, as well as for central part of Africa, through the Middle East, and into the eastern part of China. Looking to the next 15 days, we see that warmer than normal conditions around the Hudson Bay area of Canada and the southern central part of the United States. We also see warmer than normal conditions for the northern part of Brazil, extending down through into Chile and Argentina. We see warmer than normal conditions for the eastern coast of Africa, and warmer than normal conditions for much of Russia as well as for most of Europe. Looking to precipitation in the next 15 days, we see that precipitation is reasonably good for the central and southern part of Mexico, extending through to the north part of South America. Good conditions in the forecast for precipitation for West Africa and through Democratic Republic of Congo and into Angola. We also see, though, in the forecast rain for the southern tip of India, which will pose challenges there, and also good rains across much of Southeast Asia. Looking to the ratio of precipitation over potential evapotranspiration to help us understand the risk of drought in rain-fed agriculture, we see good conditions across most of Mexico the last 30 days and all the way down through to the north part of South America. Good conditions across West Africa and down into the south part of DRC, and good conditions for India and Southeast Asia. Looking to the next 15 days, we see drier conditions pushing down through Mexico with better conditions in the forecast for Central America. We also see good conditions for the central part of Africa pushing down into the central part of Angola. And we see good growing conditions for the southern tip of India, apart from those areas experiencing flooding, and good conditions across Southeast Asia for the next 15 days. WatchER has developed a dynamic agroecological index that is based off of FAO's agroecological zones. And what we've done is to compress these numerous zones into just 4: arid, marginal, suitable, and humid, based on long-term temperature and rainfall patterns. And then we use the current weather conditions to see the difference between the long-term normal and current conditions to identify areas at potential risk of food insecurity. So the last 30 days when we've using this dynamic index, we're able to see that for the Central American countries, that there is a risk of food insecurity based on the last 30 days of weather. We also see the same is true for the southern tip of Brazil, as well as for the southern part of China and into the northern part of Myanmar. When we look to the forecast the next 15 days, we see continued risk in the southern part of Brazil. We also see emerging concern and risk for Somalia and parts of Kenya, as the rains have been delayed for the October rains. We also see concern here along the eastern part of India and Bangladesh. And we see drier conditions for much of the southern part of Europe. When we zoom into the central part of Africa, we were actually able to track the movement of the Intertropical Convergence Zone as we move into the October rains for the central part of Africa. And so last 30 days, we can see this margin of moisture moving southward into the northern part of Angola. And in the forecast, this is going to be extended down through to the middle part of Angola, which is good news for farmers there. However, we do see in the top right here this concern of below normal rainfall for Uganda and Kenya, and this is going to be delaying the establishment of the October crops. Now, when we zoom into Kenya and Somalia, we can see in more detail the next 15 days the concern of lack of moisture and the delay in the cropping season, both for areas like Kitui, which we can see here, lack of moisture, and in the forecast we do see some moisture emerging, so planting can get started there, but they're very delayed. And this is a concern because the rainy season normally ends in December, so a very short window of time for farmers to plant and harvest their crop. Even of greater concern is if we look at the past 30 days compared to the forecast here for Somalia, we can see the real risk of crop failures in this part of Africa. And so just an early warning to those interested in agriculture for Somalia to be on the lookout of emerging food insecurity issues there. If analytics like this are of interest to you, I invite you to go to our adapter platform at apps.aware.com, where you can start your weather analytics journey for free. Until next week, take care.